right, good morning everyone. Welcome to 1MC Westminster. My name is Julius Knapp. Happy to see everyone here again. We are live here at the Magic office right off of Main Street in Westminster and on Facebook Live. If you're on Facebook Live and you have any questions, comments, things you want to share for the team or today's presenters, go ahead and drop them into the chat. If you're here, coffee and baked goods, I believe, are supplied by Genie Bird's Baking Company, just right next door. Thank you to them for getting us going. And if you're online and you need some help getting going in the mornings, Furnace Hills Coffee has a discount for 25% off. If you put the discount code 1MC Westminster at checkout, you can get that discount. I know we're all eager to hear from today's presenters. I know I am. But before we get going with that, I'm just going to go over what our program is and what we're all about here. So our mission here at 1MC Westminster is to lower the barrier for access to for connections, education resources for entrepreneurs. Without everyone here, everyone online, and our core pillars, we can't accomplish this mission. So what are our pillars? We're looking for presentations, not pitches, and connection, not networking. We really want to get to know you and your business and the challenges that you face so that we can connect you to all of the great resources we have in our community. We are for the community, by the community. Nobody has ownership of 1MC Westminster. Nobody should be paid to do 1MC Westminster, and we are radically and intentionally inclusive. We're always looking for great new business ideas, people who share our passion and are looking to connect with the community. We meet every week, Wednesdays at 9 a.m. We are also on YouTube if you want to stream us after the fact. I've done that many times. Please like and subscribe. We have 2 presenters whenever possible. Presenters' organizations should be less than 5 years old and willing to ask for help, because we end every session with the question, what can we as a community do to help you? So here's our organizing team: Graham Dodge, Russ Hammond, Vicki Slinkman, John Wheatman, Tina Thomas, myself, Julius Knapp, and Gabby Rose. And with that, I will hand it over to Evan.
Yeah, Evan.
Yeah, oh no. There we go. Hello, I'm Evan Davis. I'm with Evan Davis Media, pretty easy to remember. But yeah, basically I'm a photographer and videographer in the area. I offer business video, wedding, pretty much anything you can really name, I do it. Event video, portrait photography, product photography. I'll show some examples, we'll get into that later on. But yeah, that's just the basic gist, is freelance video and photo work in the community. So about myself. I was born and raised in Carroll County, so I've been here for 20 years. And honestly, I love it. I love it now. I didn't love it so much growing up. There's not too much to do here as a kid until you get a car you can drive.
You get out of here, right?
Yeah, pretty much. No, but also because I only started this business about 1.5 years ago, if even that. So coming into this new community of Carroll County I didn't know existed, the business side. It's really interesting seeing how much opportunity is here and how much I didn't know was flourishing and being created in Westminster. So it's really cool to learn more and also have a newfound respect and love for the community I've grown up in my entire life. I'm a passionate and creative videographer and photographer. As you see in my future slides, we get into the more creative stuff. I have the professional videos that I do, and then the more abstract creative stuff that helps me get my name out there and kind of separate myself from the other people doing the same things that I do. And then I have a strong love for the community, like I said, and I want to help it grow. I've seen so many businesses grow over here just in the year that I've been networking and talking with people. And I just love seeing it. I just love seeing other people thrive, and I want to thrive with you guys. Yeah. So here's some stills from videos I've made, because obviously I couldn't put videos in there. I'm not going to have you watch full videos. So this is 4 professional videos. So we have the Be Kind Science, who I think everyone loves. Yes. So that's one of the business videos I made. We have a wedding down here a country rock music video in the lower right, and then a welding video top left. So pretty diverse.
Who's the country girl?
Emily Eden, I think her name is, the band Kitty Back. Yeah, honestly, really proud of that video. So if you look up Kitty Back music video, you can see a pretty cool video with that. But yeah, so as you can see, pretty much encapsulates majority of the video there as like a from like factory footage to more wholesome community footage with the decline videos. But yeah, so it's, and then we got the more creative stuff. So this is stuff I don't do for profit. This is the stuff that I'm passionate about. We have claymation up there. I love doing claymation just because I just think it's really interesting and it kind of stands out in my videos. Other one, we have like a full 3D render that's not even video, it's all animated that I did with my brother. A ton of fun with that one. Lower right, I actually built that set for him because my goal, like what I love doing is like building and creating. So like if I could build sets and like create stories, that would be like the dream. But also, you know, I love working with businesses and weddings and all that. So I kind of just do it all. And then we'll go to drone video because I am a certified drone pilot, which is pretty cool. And I honestly have been flying the drone a lot recently. As you can see, got wedding video, business video, a roofing company I was working with, more music video stuff, and then just, you know, that's in West Virginia at Harper's Ferry. But yeah, certified drone pilot in all 50 states, which a lot of videographers aren't. So I actually work with other videographers to do drone work for them exclusively because, you know, they can't legally fly a drone. So then I'll step in and do that. But just cut out the middleman and come to me. But yeah, so not too much there besides that I am legally allowed to do drone video. And then we have professional photography, you know, anything through portraits and commercial work. As you can see, you got some modeling stuff up there. It's a local blacksmith in the McSherrystown area that he let me come and photograph him and do his work. And then just like a product shot of some nice playing cards in the middle. But yeah. Lastly, the community. Like I said, I love being here and I want to help it grow. My dream, like I would love to put like a local film festival together, like highlighting some other videographers and storytellers in the area. I've actually done research in the start of the year about securing locations to do that and talking with, because a lot of my friends are also in the video scene. They've gone to college for, you know, filmmaking and all that. So I'd really love to, you know, help highlight all of our work together and also other people I don't even know about that makes videos. This isn't like anything coming up super close just because I have a lot on my plate right now and I'm just working. This is more of a background thing that I would love to get to at some point. But yeah, if anyone would know anything about getting the ball rolling with that, I would love to talk to you. I think that would be a really cool and fun idea for the community. And just having like an event where people can come and watch videos in the afternoon would just be just a fun time. But yeah, and that is pretty much it. Thank you. There's not too much to my business besides, you know, photo, video. But yeah, that is everything.
Anybody want to start with a question for Evan? Tina Thomas from the Fit Love Project.
Hi, Evan. I've seen you at work, and you do a great job. You are passionate about what you do, so thank you for that. Very interesting. I didn't know that you were a certified drone.
I wasn't at the time I made your video. So
so it's something you did that's new. That's awesome. When it comes to the outreach to the other videographers, is there a geographic area you're looking to be able to work in?
I honestly pretty much, like, I've traveled, I mean, I've been to California to do video work, so I don't really care where I'll go, I'll do it anywhere. But I've in the general area, like Baltimore, Hanover, Lancaster, so pretty much PA, Baltimore, the whole DMV area is my main domain. But yeah, pretty much I'll go anywhere, I'll work with anyone. Is the goal.
Where did you get your certification from for drone pilot?
I don't know the testing facility, but it was through FAA.
Oh, so not through the community college. Okay.
No, I was self-taught. And
Wow. Very cool. Any other questions for Evan?
So what
Bob from Star. Oh, sorry.
No, I was asking, so what drone do you have?
I have a DJI Mini 2, so it's like it's like really small, so it can get into all the like small places to get all the best shots. It's really fun to fly around. Yeah.
All right. Well, first of all, I think a music video with me and Billy live.
I was picturing that the other day. I don't even know why. Definitely gonna be up.
Yeah. But my question is, I spoke to a woman the other day. She's in New York, and she's trying to do a movie on Chincoteague, little place in Chincoteague that was basically RVs people had for 50 years. Someone bought the land and just tore them all down. So she's doing she did a video on it, or she's trying to do a movie on it. But I guess my question to you is, do you ever pursue like grants from, places around the country to do your work?
I would love to. I honestly haven't done too much research into getting grants. I just wouldn't know too much about it and like what the conditions are and what I have to be making if I get one. But I would definitely be interested in finding out more. Because if it would be to fund a really creative and fun video, I would 100% be down. Because that's really my passion.
Yeah, she educated me. Evidently, there's all kinds of arts councils around the country that, usually for a purpose, but will fund your opportunity.
That's awesome.
So,
Yeah, I'll look into that for sure.
Okay, I certainly can contact you with her.
Please do.
Just add some more context to what Rick is saying. The Maryland Arts Council would be the best place to go to look for those grants. There's a bucket for basically local artists to write up grants for. They're basically community grants, so they're 5 to 10 grand, something like that. You can go in. They're pretty easy to apply for, but the Maryland Arts Council would be the place.
I'm gonna type that down right now.
Jack, did you have a question?
Yes.
Jack McCracken.
I'll wait until you write it down.
How's he do 2 fingers?
All right, I'm
Go ahead,
ready.
Jack.
So it sounds like you do a little bit of everything. Is there an area that you're more passionate about than others that you foresee yourself kind of going toward and away from other things?
Yeah, so like if I could have like the absolute dream, it would be to make music videos full time. Just cause I made a music video, dropped 2 weeks ago. I was like super proud of it, and like I love doing special effects and like visual effects. It's like really creative stuff like with like claymation and all that. And I like people like hitting me up just through Instagram, like not even like asking for work, but like, oh my gosh, I saw that video, it was so freaking good, dude, that was amazing. Keep up the good work, and like I just love that. So like if I could do that full time, that would be like the dream. But at the same time, the music industry is not the most profitable, so I understand that.
Have you connected with Billy Live yet?
I think briefly, but
Oh, okay.
not too
So
much.
you haven't done any music, Wisdom Port videos? Yet?
Nah.
Oh, okay. Well, that seems like an obvious opportunity. Yeah. Any other questions? Vicky?
So Evan, if we did have a project, how would we go about getting in contact with you? What's the best way to reach you?
Just, I guess, my phone number is 443-440-1424, or you can just go to my website, evandmedia.com, or if you just look up Evan Davis Media, everything comes up on Google. And so there's a page on my website where you can reach out or email me, and everything's there.
It's not a question. I'll just say, Evan's awesome. I've worked with him on a couple of projects, and even if you put him up in the Airbnb from hell, he still has a great attitude and does great work.
Sounds like that.
There's a story there.
Oh, there is.
Any other questions? Jack?
I was gonna say, have you heard of the Community Media Center?
Yeah, I do part-time work there as well.
Okay, I was gonna say, I feel like that would be a good connection point, especially if you're gonna try to do community events like the one you were mentioning. I think they would at least be a resource to you. But
Yeah.
It sounds like you're already planning.
And have you connected with the Arts Council or the Arts Center about doing a film festival?
I mean, I've gone on the website and looked through their stuff. I haven't actually reached out yet because I'm not in the phase of actually booking down dates. Because I want to, if I were to host a film festival, I would want to make sure my best work is also being presented. So I want to take, time to really flesh out and make a full, really good video, and then also work with other people to make sure they have enough time to make something.
And that's something that I would be interested in helping you with, just because I have a background in film and television years ago, and I sponsored a couple film festivals back in the late 90s, one of which was here in Baltimore. It was called the Festival of Darkness. horror film.
We don't know if we want to know about.
It was it was only around for a couple of years, but I got to see a lot of the behind the scenes stuff because my friend produced it, so I'd be happy to connect with you and talk about that.
Yeah, I was thinking because I think the Carroll Art Center would be like the best for like in the community outreach. But I know there's a place in Glenrock, PA, that's kind of like 40-ish minutes away, so there's a bit of a drive. But they have like a really cool outdoor venue that I think would be like really interesting to have people come out there and just check out that area as well. But I'll have to do like some research, see if people would be willing to travel.
Well, also, there's something locally that not a lot of people know about called the Shakemore Festival, which is a big music festival. Are you familiar with it?
I am not.
That happens out on a farm. I think it's the guy who did the sculpture, Tom, what's his name? The guy who did the sculpture of the leaves in front of the city building. Anyway, and David Fair helps produce the event. He was in a band anyway, it doesn't matter. But they draw like 1,000+ people each time they throw it, and it's totally under the radar. It happens here in Westminster on a farm, and I would imagine that there may be interest in standing up a film festival alongside of it. That could be something that you could be a part of.
That's sweet. Yeah,
I'll check it out.
Yeah, please do.
Graham, are you talking about Thomas Sterner?
Yes, Tom Sterner. Thank you. Yep. Yeah, it's his farm where they host it.
Yeah, he's got it's a nice area.
Yeah. All right, any other questions for Evan? And we always end with what can we as a community do to help you?
I guess just keep on supporting. Thank you. Everything you've done so far is amazing. I honestly haven't met a bad person yet, and everyone's been super nice and supportive. So yeah, thank you guys so much.
Thank you. All right, let's take a couple-minute break while we switch, and we actually are going to have ZipTip, right?
Yeah,
present today.
apparently that guy can't get his calendar right, so
That's
I thought
right.
it was on today.
So we're gonna just take a couple minutes to get Steve set up with ZipTip here. So bear with us. Yeah, grab some refills of coffee. You want to connect to the Wi-Fi.
Hello, how are you? I heard your voice. I'm like,
Good to see you too.
how's your heart
Thanks.
feeling?
I saw the
A little bit in my ear, oh, I'm just so fine. I'm like, this is really cool. And then I saw that your party was
Yeah.
How long have you been there?
About a year is when I joined, because I saw a post about me
Oh, way back. Freedom.
Yes, we had a mutual.
Freedom Patrice.
You know Rita Patrice?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we're desperately trying to plan to go to this.
We are trying to figure it out too.
I feel badly that I broke it.
It's a secret.
I do a lot of like second shooting for people. That's why it's like my main thing.
Do you have a
So I guess for us in my company, it's mostly business video probably.
Magic
One of my biggest people I work for is over, and it's kind of like
We can give it to you to like dump it on your own.
biggest work is business videos, and those are my favorite videos to make.
Probably not this summer where we have
Wedding videos.
I don't want to get drunk because
She looks so excited.
it's also because one day we just need to worry about being able to get there and being able to get back.
Right.
I'm sorry.
What happened?
All right, everybody. Let me introduce our next presenter, Steve Lowe from ZipTip.
So, my name's Steve Lowe, and I'm a cashless schmuck. A few years back, I was in New York City with my now wife. Her name's Kim. She's awesome. I think she's watching. We checked in the hotel, and there's a bellman there ready to take our luggage up, and we follow up, and I'm like, can I cash? How do I cash? So, he brings us our bags, and I'm like, dude, I'm really sorry. Yeah, he's like, oh, no problem, Mr. Lowe, A little while later, we order room service, food comes up. I'm like, cash, At the end of the trip, gotta get our car from the valet that, you know, it's in New York City, so they retrieve it from like deep in the mantle of the earth and they bring it up and give me the keys and I'm like, oh, I can't. It's not that I don't want to tip these people, it's in my heart too. I just don't carry cash because you gotta like remember to get it, you gotta like keep it, I gotta protect it from pickpocketers, you know, and cash is like dirty and nasty and germy, and I just, millions and millions of us don't carry cash anymore. And this is normally not a problem in most areas of life. You go to the restaurant, pay with your credit card, you leave the tip on the card. You know, if I owe you money, Venmo, Zelle, Cash App, PayPal. But none of those really those are not seamless, they're clunky solutions. You know, to try to tip someone in, say, the hospitality industry. There needs to be something as easy as, you know, here's $5 without the $5 because I don't have the $5. So at the end of this trip, Kim and I were like, there's got to be a solution. There's got to be a better way. And we think we came up with it. We call it ZipTip. Seamless, cashless tipping. No cash, no problem. Let me tell you how it works. First, a tipper scans a device that the service provider has. Could be a pin like this, could be a wristband like this, could be we call this a counter cube like this, or a QR code. I'll tell you more about those in a minute. Scans with the phone, boom, instantly in browser, no app necessary, tip amounts, tip choices come up. Pick your choice, done. The service provider gets paid, and everybody's happy, and nobody ever needed cash. That's the tip. Questions? No, I'm just kidding. Let me tell you how it really works. So first of all, we will provide these scannable devices to workers in the service provider industry. The first three, the pin, the wristband, and the counter cube, all use NFC technology, near field communication, I think. Same kind of deal that when you pay with Apple Pay, when you pay at the pump, there's a chip, and these chips can be programmed to do a variety of things, including call up a very specific browser on your cell phone, on your cell phone. Same technology that's used now in these cool business cards that maybe you've seen, where you basically, instead of taking the guy's business card, you tap it with your phone, and voila, magically the contact information is now in your phone. It's NFC technology. That's what's in these first three. And then of course there's the QR code, which is, everybody knows what that is. We think that the wristband and the pin are ideal for room service folks, for valet, for bellman, the people that inspired this idea. We think that the counter cube is ideal for where there's a counter in between the tipper and the service provider, say like at the airport with a sky cap, we're not going to reach over, we're just going to do like this, and there we go. So we will provide any of these devices to workers in the service industry. Then, as I said, magically the profile appears in your browser with tipping choices. Now, before you've had this transaction, the service provider has gone into ZipTip and set up a very simple profile in her ZipTip profile. She could add her name, she could add a picture, she could add a little biography, a little bio, why, tip me because, right? And then she could also pick 3 predetermined tip amounts, knowing that 95% of us are going to pick that middle amount. And then ZipTip will also provide a custom tip amount. So if you are the tipper and you scan one of these devices, mystically, magically, maybe something like this appears on your phone. Too soon. Too soon. So it's as easy as $5, and then you hit tip. And now, obviously, the first time that you do this, you're going to need to connect ZipTip with your Apple Wallet or Google, whatever the hell you Android people use on Google. I don't even know. But once that's set up, it's as simple as tap that and hit tip, and now the service provider gets paid. Now, this little transaction here between the picking the tip amount and paying the service provider, let me tell you how that works. We had to figure out a way where we could avoid the hefty merchant services fees that usually come with paying with a credit card, because they're going to take 2, 3, 4%. They're going to add 30 cents, maybe 50 cents on the transaction. And if that's how we're doing this, by the time the service provider gets your tip, there's like no money left. So we figured out, at least for now, as far as we know, we could use PayPal's API to facilitate a peer-to-peer transaction, which effectively means limited or maybe even no transaction fees, because it's just like me sending you PayPal. That's how that part of it works. Everybody's happy, never needed cash. Two major selling propositions here. One, cashless schmucks like me are eliminated and I get to live a guilt-free life. And secondly, service providers never miss out on tips again. Now, let me tell you about kind of the business model around this. ZipTip will be a subscription model. We're not trying to take a percentage off the top. We're just providing the platform to facilitate the transactions. So a service provider could pay $8 a month, or if you want to save some money, $72 annually. There are no fees on top of that for the service provider. I don't really know how many of these sort of people there are in the country. I tallied up like 400,000 with the kinds of people that I would want to, that I'm like feel bad about not tipping. So if we could say land 2% of those early on, times $72 annually, we could be running at, a little over $500,000, fairly early on. Startup costs. Actually, I have no idea. No, that's not true. I have a little idea. I don't really know exact numbers, but I know this. I know the development of this is relatively inexpensive. And I know this because we've already done it. About 2 years ago, we had a developer that kind of built this to about 75–80%. And we spent the equivalent of probably $6,000 or $7,000. So we probably need to be starting over with this, but I think 10, 20, maybe 30 grand would get this thing set up. The scannables are also relatively inexpensive. I mean, these wristbands are already made in bulk with the chips in them. They just need to be programmed. The chips themselves only cost about 25 cents a piece. So there would be some engineering, some rigging to figure out these, exactly how these are made, exactly how these are made. But it's a relatively inexpensive deal. Marketing, on the other hand, is going to be, I think, the big nut. Because in order for this to work, it has to be ubiquitous. Lots of people have to adopt this. And getting the word out for that is going to be the heavy lift beyond the simple development. All the technology exists. It's just a matter of connecting a couple of dots. But then we got to spend a lot of the money probably getting the word out. So that is ZipTip, quick cashless tipping, tapped it, done.
Nice. Great presentation.
Well, thanks.
All right. Yes, Vicky.
So I love the logo and the branding. It's like you're in marketing or something. I know how to do it.
I do have to credit Kim for all of that, I think. Anyway.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a need, and I see it not just within tipping. Like I've seen examples where, you're fundraising.
Yep.
Somebody's, selling raffle cards at an event and you need cash. Like
Absolutely.
I think this focus could be, really huge.
Technically, you could buy anything.
Yeah.
With it. And I think singer-songwriters in a cafe, something like that.
Again, something you might know something about.
Well, yeah. And there's been some other not so wholesome thoughts about how perhaps this could be used places where cash is necessary. My focus here is the hospitality. You're absolutely right.
Save the $8 fee. Sorry.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Introduce yourself too.
Yes, I'm Lori Ruth,
Hi, Lori.
and I live in Westminster. I'm a neighbor of Rick's. He invited me here
Thank
today.
you
It's
for coming.
fascinating, and I
Oh,
love
Rick.
Vicky. So we always have cash, but we always have 20s, and this is the dilemma. I'm not giving him a $20 tip,
Right.
so sometimes he doesn't get a tip because
You need denominations of this cash.
yeah.
Whose
So
idea was cash?
I love it. But my question is, so my husband is in sales with restaurants and the service industry as well. Can you personalize your pin and your wrist and that cube? I know you don't want to get rid of your logo, but could a restaurant like Maggie's somehow be on any of that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we haven't quite figured out the manufacturing of all these, but I mean, lots of things can be custom, like one-up printed or, 20. So probably some way to do that. Again, I think like Maggie's, we can already pay with a credit card or whatever, but like you were saying, we could literally tip anyone or pay anyone with this. It's just most of those already have a solution, you know. But yeah, what the heck? Let's go to Mac. Let's make some custom counter keys for Maggie's.
Yeah, first of all, I'm with you. I don't carry the cash. Every time I'm in New York, I leave the hotel room. I'm like, oh,
Right.
I truly. So having that in the hotel room, I'd easily go, boom.
Right. Oh, and I forgot to mention, for the hotel room, like the housekeeping, that's where the QR code would come into play. Instead of having I mean, you could do it either way, but it would just be a nice little card, have a nice professionally printed card. Boom.
Right, but with that, with the housekeeping, now you don't know who's coming in the room, right? It's an unknown, so who gets the tip?
That's, I guess, good point. To me, that's their problem. That's a good point. But if I leave $20 on the table,
Yeah,
who
it's a
gets
share.
that?
Right.
You know, oh, I see what you're saying. This makes sure that my housekeeper gets that tip. Is that what you're saying? I've solved the problem. I didn't even know I had it.
Yeah, a housekeeper, yeah, gets the tip, but
Yeah.
I think collectively the company probably has to sign off, right?
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, in certain situations.
That
Yeah, you're gonna need.
Well, and actually, there's a
Cool
couple
tips.
ways we thought about how to get this thing to market and to basically have a significant test market. And one idea is actually to see if we could find a hotel chain or someone that would see this valuable to help their employees and maybe they would adopt it. I mean, yes, I would think that there would be some hotel chains that would need to sign off on.
So should we crowdfund this?
We could talk about that, yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you have something set up so we can give you money right now? Cash?
This is just bull crap. There's nothing here. Although I have tested this, it does work. You can try scanning this. You can just send me cash.
Chris?
So you're talking about a lot of individual adoption, which can be a difficult thing. And I like the idea of partnering. I would suggest casinos because they already do. So there's already a habit now that you have a casino card.
Right.
You scan it every 30 minutes to get points. You do. So there's this habit that already exists in people who frequent casinos and the hotel. So, and especially with the increase of legal gambling in Maryland, you're going to start seeing more and more pop up. And there's Live, which is huge, but there are some smaller, casinos that might be worth, seeing if you can make that pitch.
And so what would we be paying
So-
for? The chips?
You'd have to
Points?
be flexible because one of the ideas you could look at putting the NFC, if it's not already there, the NFC chip into the card, so into the live card.
Okay.
So
I see
that
what you mean.
would be the adoption that
Gotcha.
right there, and then through that you would basically make a contract with the and your money would come off the contract now.
I like
For a certain amount of uses.
I have a question about the subscription model.
Yeah.
So let's say I order one of the cubes, right? I use it for like a one-time event, because I don't pay for the cube, right? The cube I get for free, and then
Probably. I mean, maybe
Somewhere along the line you're paying for it.
Yeah.
it's a subscription model. But,
Exactly.
and then like after 1 month, I no longer want to
Right.
use it.
Right.
Do
I'm out. Yeah.
Do you come and get the cube, or
Probably
does it
not.
stop working?
Just-
Or
No, it's not working because the back end would just not connect that chip to whatever the URL that was going to. Technically, in that situation, yeah, I'd be out however much it cost me to send. We don't really know yet, but like the thought is, when you sign up for ZipTip, you get to pick two, right? And you could do two of those, could be this and that, whatever. And then we send you that in hopes that you kind of stick around. And of course, nobody's like on the internet on this, but I think that the flip side of that is you could also sign up and never use it, which is also fine. It's only a month.
Yeah.
There's no stuff that.
We have a question on Facebook from Seth Grove from Startup Portal. Is there functionality for the tips to be reported as income for the
I
recipients?
knew that was going to come. So one of my concerns is that this is going to tick off the IRS if it actually takes off. Right now, with cash, it's up to you. There is no functionality. Like, you report them if you want to. That's how I think ZipTip would be initially. But if it really did gain traction, then the IRS would be like, hold on a minute. Now there's a digital trail, and we want to know. So I would think cross that bridge when it comes. Right now, I would say we would incur the recipients of the tips would handle it just like they handle cash.
I wonder if there's a CSR public benefit angle where for every ZipTip subscription you sell, you provide one to a nonprofit that gives them to homeless people. So I know, like, that's one of the big things these days
Wow.
with giving homeless people money, right?
Odd thing about that.
Is that you never have cash on you anymore for those who want to give to homeless. So,
Wow.
but this could be, like, you could pair this business model
Yeah.
with that public
I follow you.
benefit thing so that when you get to scale, no one would dare try to shut you down because you're actually
Helping
helping the
Right.
homeless.
A good guy.
I've heard
So maybe a nonprofit that serves the homeless would buy,
Right.
100 of these wristbands from you or something, and give them out to people that somehow interact with that nonprofit, that register with them, so they are known people. Maybe the nonprofit handles where that money is
Interesting.
going.
So then I'm just wondering though,
You
if
get
I'm
paid
in a
for the
light,
state.
there's a homeless guy with like like
Yeah.
where do you get that?
But
But it would be
difficulty,
known, right?
difficulty there, it would have to be an organization because most homeless people don't have bank accounts.
That's right.
Not to,
Well, that's what I'm saying.
yeah, so it
A
would have to
nonprofit
be.
would be responsible
Food
for that.
stamps are now a card, so you could work with the state to have your chip inserted to that card, potentially. And that comes to a question I have.
Well, hold on, Rick's ahead of you.
Yeah, I guess for your angle here, especially with individuals, I think working with the companies and the employers to get once you go over $600, you've got a problem, right? In tips, let's say, because
Okay.
that's the threshold for 1099s,
Okay.
right? So once you do that, but if you're working with the employers to feed them the tip information by employees, that problem is solved, and they can actually use this as a selling point to have employees come in and say, look, your tips are going to be higher
Right.
because of ZipTip.
Right.
So I think working with the employers should not be a problem.
And so you're saying that the $600, I guess in my head, I'm thinking if I'm receiving tips, I may or may not be reporting that, so that $600 threshold is not as
Well,
relevant if I'm
that's
not
my
reporting.
point. I mean, you get enough volume, and you're going to be the target. So the
Okay.
IRS should come after you as a
Yeah.
company
Uh,
because you're basically acting as an employer,
Okay.
right? Because you're taking the money and you're paying the employee.
to which my lawyer would say, no, I'm not.
Well, like
That's a
how
good point.
Venmo, does Venmo do reporting like that at the end of the year for people? They do?
I think there are some reporting requirements that
And they're
companies
using an
do.
ACH API that's open and free, so that's why they're able to do transactions for free. So I would look at that instead of PayPal.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That's the
Okay.
question that I had was, have you locked in an API that you're gonna be using that's already regulated so that you don't have to go through those hurdles?
So that's above my pay grade to answer that question. I think the answer is yes, but it was, when we were first building this thing out and things are always forever changing. So yeah, yeah. And another one of my concerns is, I have several concerns about this. One is the IRS. Another is, sooner or later, whatever we're using, whoever's the platform there that we're, third party, they may decide to shut down our peer-to-peer thing. So you're right, we gotta lock that in.
Right, the concern in regards to regulation is that your ZipTip is not used for unseemly transactions.
So we're helping homeless. We've already solved
Used for money laundering.
Yeah, exactly. So
Good.
that-
Well, maybe
that's
there's a
where the
limit
API
on how
would
much
be,
you can tip to the platform, so
Yeah,
it
the
makes it
API would-
difficult to launder money.
Right, right. They'd have those.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to launder $20 at a time.
I think Marty knows Marty.
From a fee standpoint, I agree with Grant. I mean, looking at ACH over, because the fees are more minimal in ACH transactions, because they're bank-to-bank transactions. Versus,
Yeah, that would just require the
Yeah.
person who's getting the tips to input their banking information to
I'm
ZipTip.
tracking that, yeah.
Actually, that's a good point about laundering. You said it's hard to do $20 a night. I can write code that can just puts it in a loop.
Well, but that's where the hardware comes into play. So maybe because you have to have the transaction connect with the hardware device, you're only going to get one you could register for one, but then they can easily flag that amount of activity on one device.
Yeah, and
See, I think this is more of a hardware play actually, because the software side of it has been figured out in different ways by different companies, but no one's been able to get traction to have this kind of concept. So I would consider maybe charging for the devices and lowering your fees for a
I'm
monthly
recording this, right?
subscription.
This is a lot of good thoughts.
Yes.
I'm not writing it in my phone like.
Well, and I think
You'll
as
have it
an
recorded.
exit strategy, you would have Venmo and PayPal would be the obvious people that would want to buy you.
100%. And another concern is that they're just going to do this because I don't know why. I don't know why they haven't.
Not if you get the traction ahead of them.
Right.
They don't have
They're
the
busy
ZipTip
doing
name.
what they
That's
do.
right. That's right.
Yeah, I mean,
Check that.
by getting traction, getting industry traction. So like,
Yeah,
not to
that's
go back to the casino, but like, it is find an industry that you think you can do it. So is it? So a lot of what do you call it? A lot of hotel workers, for example. I mean, the very large chains, you know, some have their own internal workers, but then there's also a lot of outsourced, like room cleaning and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So if you can find a local made company that does a lot of outsourced, you might find people who are more willing to buy in. Because I mean, you go up to Hyatt, yeah, that's gonna be the hardest sell,
Right,
you know,
sure.
but if you go to the local maid service that maybe cleans, you know, 20 local motels in the area, that might be an easier buy than, you know, to get started.
So let me ask you this, because it seems like what is the consensus is that targeting some sort of industry company or many companies to adopt this would be the way to go. Another idea is to like try to pick a city and let's just get every hospitality, everybody in that industry there. So my first thought was Vegas, obviously. That sounds like a good one. So you could do both, but I mean, you know, obviously you're going to go into the funds. Do you think that geographic or industry, or I should say company, is a better way to the initial market?
Test it out.
Well, because of how much have you raised so far on the crowdsourcing? I mean,
How much
Test
you
it
need?
out.
we're 20 minutes in here.
Well, on the marketing thing, because you mentioned the homeless, you can do a whole bunch of charities. Like I go to state
For sure.
and they go, hey, do you want to donate money to whatever? And they could, you know, the charity instead of having ZipTip, they could say a little ZipTip on there, they could say donate to. You know,
Well, but I think his
homeless,
beachhead
and
is
that
where
goes out.
there is no credit card transaction happening with that person that's in front of you.
Yeah.
So like the valet.
One of it, you can have, what I'm saying is you could, if you're a charity, you can place that at events, you're
Oh,
having
I see what you're
events,
saying.
and
Yeah, yeah,
then they could be walking down Westminster and, hey,
So
we just want to donate.
People are
to-
doing that with QR codes though
Yeah.
already
Yeah.
with charities and stuff like that.
Alright.
So, but I mean, yeah, 100%. I mean, you could also, depending on the limit, you could,
Yeah.
you know, buy a car.
But where your competition is, though, one of the places they're already at is, so there's NFC chips in your watches, NFC chips in your phone. So, like, if I wanted to pay Graham right now, I can just touch my phone to Graham's phone and I can pay him.
Yep.
So part of it is, I mean, the NFC chip is out there in the world. So you may not have to invest a lot in the pieces themselves. And so I think that's where you're going to have a challenge of finding. I think the adoption comes from finding either a locale or an industry that is going to adopt ZipTip as its method. And the thing that, at least in your presentation, that differentiates you from PayPal or Venmo is that you're not going to be charging these fees that, you know, are that hit every transaction. You're going to have one lump sum. Now, I mean, financially, you have to figure out if that's something you can do to survive. But you know, that's.
You might also get some really interesting exhaust data out of this, where like if you're integrated with a whole hotel system, you know, that they are then tracking the data on the back end to see which employees are getting the most tips, to understand which employees are the most favored
True.
and valuable employees.
Then
So
is that a
that might be a data business plan
Sure.
revenue
Yeah.
model on the back end.
but then do the actual users of this, the service providers, not want to do it because they don't want the
They don't
hotel
want
or
to be
anybody
tracked.
else to
Right.
know?
Oh, but they ultimately want the money.
Tips.
Yeah, they're incentivized.
They're incentivized.
To give good service.
It could be a hurdle.
But I think the hotel industry does seem
And
obvious.
that API could actually, and this is way, sorry, I'm thinking bigger here, but so then that API though could tie into HR software too, which, you know, so you can actually track and aggregate that data for whoever's using that software, and that's just a way to,
And
again,
then there'll be conspiracy theorists that say that this is all a big thing to track everybody, you know?
but we're already tracking.
Hey, when you're that big,
True. Everybody knows.
You have one of these, you're tracking.
That's
Got
right.
bad news
That's
for
right.
you.
Yeah.
All right, Jack, last
Oh,
question.
Sure. This is just out of curiosity. Is this something that's just an idea phase for you, or is this something that you're planning to kind of jump both feet in and pursue?
So I tried to jump both feet in a couple of years ago, and then it just kind of fizzled. And I've got several ideas that all require like some sort of that require some sort of tech like this.
Right.
And I'm just kind of sick of them just being on my whiteboard. So I'm like here to be like, yeah, I'm trying to move forward with that. So it's sort of in between, but
So,
I would
Mr.
jump both
President, I'm
in
just
like
curious.
tomorrow.
Well, this might be a fortuitous time because I've noticed a lot of the venues and locations that I've been going to recently have become cashless.
Yep.
That all transactions are
Oh,
either
good
credit card,
Yeah.
debit card,
Yep.
or ACH transactions. So this might actually be a good time for this to get traction because now you're cashless as well.
What you really need is to find somebody who's willing to set up a 2-day film festival. Go to the hotels and say, "I know
Product
people are
placement in
staying
every shot.
Let's call
like it.
Daddy
I
up at
like
the
it.
Best Western and
Yeah.
get it going.
Hey, can I ask you one other
Right,
question?
synergy.
We got time.
Yeah.
Okay, so originally, this was the main idea, like a pin right here. Which I think is, the reason I like this is because
Well,
it's
but-
in your,
So now I gotta go up to you.
exactly, especially a woman, like that's
Right.
not,
I consider that too, yeah.
anyway. So like, but this isn't as obvious, so I love this because it's like obvious, so I guess you could have a pin and this, but that's another little hurdle I've been trying to work through. This is the advertisement.
This is your personal bubble.
Yeah, exactly, you're getting into some personal things.
Yeah.
Maybe the
Aren't
thing
there
is-
ranges on those chips?
Not a lot.
Not that far though.
Yeah,
I
they're-
thought,
it's
I thought it
inches.
was at
Gotta
least a
get pretty
foot.
close.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
It's closer than
they
a
call it tapping for.
I think the wristband probably is gonna be the thing that's gonna be favored by most
Yeah.
people, but
Yeah.
maybe the pin is just for some people who I prefer because they're busy with their hands and they're like, hey, just get my pin.
Well, and it's obviously
Like
right
making
here. It's like,
coffee.
oh, cashless because if the ballet had this, or it's just like I wouldn't see this.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah,
oh,
but then people are walking by hitting them
Well,
with their phones.
I think that's
so fine. Bring it on.
I think that's a business model question, though.
Right.
I-
Wouldn't it be a combo? The pin is the representation
Sure.
of I accept this.
Right.
The
The
Yelp sticker.
functionality could be on
Could be on
both.
your wrist or anywhere else. It
Or
doesn't
anywhere
have
else.
to be like again. Most I could guarantee almost everyone in this room has an NFC chip on them right now.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
So pretty much you walk into a room, everyone has an NFC again. So I don't know that being the conduit to pay is necessary. You can have a marketing strategy that's built around those, but that doesn't have to be the thing
I see
that
what you're saying.
takes the payment.
So you could.
And
set
so,
up
but I
a-
also think you need to answer the question of, is this something that you're trying to attract, or like, where's your business model? Is it to get adoption as a whole, or is it to get adoption from a company? Because if you get an adoption from a company, then
They do
it doesn't matter. Like all of that stuff, they're going to integrate that into everything they do.
Right.
So, but if you're trying to get mass adoption, yeah, you need these things, but yeah, that's kind of you kind of gotta.
This is the last mile solution in terms of getting a cashless society to actually be able to afford everything.
Yeah.
By providing the physical hardware device
Yeah.
that connects it to the person who doesn't have either the phone on them or doesn't have the POS system right in front of them to then interact with
There it is.
somebody else, or
Right.
does have a phone, right?
Were you gonna say something?
Also, yeah, similar to what they were saying is like offer the pin as well, but then maybe if they don't order a pin when they get the box or the bracelet, just throw in like a free pin that doesn't have a chip that looks obviously different from that one, so that no one's tapping the fake pin. Just advertise it like wear this to show you accept it, and then if they ask for it, you can pull up the
Yeah,
box.
it'd be a button.
Yeah.
It'd be a pin,
Yeah.
button, anything.
Yeah. Okay.
It'd be flare.
Flare.
Something like flare.
Zip will have zip suspenders with it.
All right, and our last question, Tina, you want to ask it?
Is there anything else that our community can help you with?
Glad you asked. I need a full stack developer for this and the next 3 ideas I want to present here. And it's killing me because the guy that's built this and another idea is the smartest guy in the world, but not exactly communicative and available and all of that.
Yeah.
So if that would be, if I could get some connection to, and I've interviewed a few people, and I was trying to go cheap, and we got college students or whatever, and I just haven't found the right fit to hire, partner, whatever. I'm open to figuring out, just about, do anything.
Fiverr.
What's that?
Fiverr.
A developer on Fiverr? See, it scares me a little bit. Is that
Well, don't let it scare you. I've used it multiple times. We can talk about it offline.
Well,
Okay.
and we're working
For
on
a
a
big, it's a
relationship.
big thing though. This is not like a logo or whatever. You should call me for that anyway.
And Magic is working on a relationship with an Estonian university that's trying to find entrepreneurial app-based projects in the U.S. for their Estonian students to help develop.
Okay. Well, I got 4.
So, well, I was gonna say I love the logo, the name.
Like that?
You nailed it, and I think the website ZipTip.io is a great domain.
Was that on there somewhere?
You just gotta get a
Graham,
splash page.
I don't agree with the name. It is horrible for the yellow pages.
True.
Yeah.
We'll rethink that for,
Yes,
for your yellow pages.
Because everybody looks through the yellow pages these days.
And I think the colors clash with yellow. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
Fax
See?
number. But you have you have the domain, right?
Yeah, we do.
ZipTip.io.
Oh, because it was on the.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But you got to put like a little splash page up at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, with,
We'll have to sign
for
that.
more information, fill out this form, start gathering data.
Okay.
You could do very simply. You could do a hey, sign up, give us your mobile number or email to get informed when the app's available.
Right.
You could start collecting that now.
Sure.
So as you're going around talking about it, sorry for the sirens, then you can start collecting interest, and that'll be attractive to investors to say, oh, I've got 10,000 people signed up waiting for this product.
I like it. Good cause. I'm glad I came.
All right.
All right.
All right, we got like 8 minutes. Does anybody have a community update they want to share?
Yeah, I'll do it.
You wanna get up there?
I'll probably do the same as last week, but
Okay.
so a couple weeks ago, the guys from Innovators of Progress stopped by. So their event is tomorrow from 1 to 4. If you want to watch it online, just send us an email. Graham, you have codes as well, right? For the Innovators of Progress.
Yeah.
1 to 4, but we are hosting it at Startup Portal. So
Wait,
if you
not
wanna-
Innovators of Progress.
No, I'm sorry. Innovative. Oh my gosh.
I was going to say, I just pulled up
Thank
Innovators
you.
of Progress. I was like,
My bad.
Wait, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong innovator.
Innovation, what is it called?
Oh my gosh.
No.
Innovators of Progress is part of Magic.
I was going to start with.
Okay, yeah, so, but basically, these guys talk about, if you have a product that you want to run through the design, the patent, the e-commerce, they certainly, 1 to 4 tomorrow, stop by Startup Portal. I don't think we have it on there.
Oh, okay.
So that's tomorrow. We'll have some beer and wine and some snacks. And then I'm doing a crowdfunding seminar on Thursdays, picking different portals, and I may even have a guest one of these Thursdays to talk to a guy about crowdfunding. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
So anyway, every Thursday I'm doing it online, really, sort of getting the message out there, and part of this is really going to be talking about next week or two the economy, the sentiment in the economy is a little tight right now. So as companies and credit tightens up, this might be a good opportunity for companies if they need it. And it's not something today, but really planning that aspect to it. So lots of dynamics going on, but people that need funding, they can go to a Fundera at 40% interest. It's just that a guy sent me an email the other day. You want to borrow $10,000 and you have to pay back $14,000 in less than a year. Just insane. So this may be something that is out there. And so we're talking about that on Thursdays at 6 o'clock. So and again, tomorrow, Startup Portal, 1 to 4. That's all I got.
Any other community updates? Chris, come on up.
Actually, you can pull up the event for Carol Ignite. I updated the webpage yesterday.
Carol Ignite.
Well, actually, it's just the Carol website. Actually, might be there. There you go. There you go.
Nice.
So October 19th, we are having our 10th annual Carol Ignite. It's an opportunity for people in the community to give 5-minute energetic talks to a slide that only rotates every 15 seconds. We are looking for speakers. That's not quite out there yet, but if you're interested, you can contact me, and I can put you on the list early. We're also going to be looking for sponsors here. We're going to scroll down a little bit more, and you'll see you can also, it's recorded and hosted by the Carroll Media Center. The previous ones are all right there. Well, not 3, 2, 1, because I guess those weren't recorded, but everything else was recorded. and you can see it, what it looks like. But please get the word out, and there might be some more announcements coming soon about that. So thank you for your time.
Nice.
Yeah. So, Carol Biz Challenge is in season here. We just closed the application period on whatever it was, last Tuesday. Got 44 applications.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool. Like 40 of them came in last day, it seemed like. So next up is the meet and greet, which is, I wasn't even prepared for this, is the, I want to say the 18th?
23rd.
23rd.
23rd
Like I said, thank
at
you.
5 p.m.
Thank you. At the town mall, okay, outside of Dick's Sporting Goods. Everybody's invited. It's the first time that all of the applicants will be together with the, some of the judges and the sponsors. This guy's in, and we'll look forward to this.
Nice.
So, food and drinks provided. It'll be a good time. And then, of course, the live finale is whatever that says. August 18th at the Art Center.
You doing the 1-minute pitches?
Coolest. Yeah, we are going to do that. Yep.
Okay, that was fascinating.
That was fun.
It was very, yes, and helpful. Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, so what'll happen is meet and greet in a couple weeks, and then the advisory committee will get together and pick 5 out of the 44. We'll announce that. Those 5 present live at the Carroll Arts Center on the 18th of August, and somebody walks away with $10,000 cash, grand prize, plus thousands more in valuable services. By the way, if anyone would like to contribute, donate to those valuable services on the grand prize, I would love to talk to you about that, because we kind of drive the value up to over 30 grand. Then there's a People's Choice Award, which this year is $2022, voted on by the audience at the live event. And also, this is the second year we're doing this. The United Way of Central Maryland is sponsoring a $2,500 Changemaker Award, where they look at all 44 applications and pick one that they think is going to make the biggest community impact. It doesn't have to be a finalist. So pretty cool stuff. Most money we've ever given away, and should be a great show. So come to the meet and greet next up. Please.
Anyone else have a community update? All right, Tina, why don't you come up and close us out?
Thanks. Wow, greatly appreciate our presenters today. Evan Davis Media, he's great to work with. You can't say it enough. Yes, because he worked with Infinite Love Project and a collaborative video that we did with the Boys and Girls Club of Westminster. Yeah, and now Steve's got ZipTip. Woo-hoo. Looking forward to seeing how that works out in the market. Looking forward to having this entrepreneurial community assist you in putting this in the market. It's a rah-rah win-win for the entrepreneurial community in Westminster, because that's what 1MC is all about. So thank you to Magic as our host and our location here on Main Street. Thank you to Jeannie Bird for the scones and the go-go juice. Thank you for Startup Portal and all you do. Well, sometimes we have 1 presenter, sometimes we have 2, and next week it could be you. Go to 1 Million Cups, the number 1, millioncups.com/Westminster. Click apply to present, especially if you are now part of the Biz Challenge and you've applied there. It'll give you a chance to come check out our entrepreneurial community, give you a chance to talk about your biz and what you're going to be chatting about during the meet and greet. And it'll really help you out. We're good people here. I'll see you next time.